Sitting on the block drinking Millers. Came a long way from hanging with dealers and killers. I gotta go and get it. I gotta go and get it. I gotta go and get it. I'm on a mission to bring all of my dreams and my visions to fruition. I gotta go and get it. I gotta go and get it. Nothing but change in my pocket, so I'm jingling, baby. My life a circus like them brothers wrinkling, baby. Itching for the green, my hands are singling, baby. My month to end the money don't make sense to me, baby. But I gotta make these sense so I can make these bills, to pay these bills. Can't flex if my bank ain't a gym. I want the gems and the jewels and the crib made for the rulers. Trying to get where you can't measure my pockets with your ruler.
Hey everyone, it is the Brandee J talk show, and this episode I am so excited. You heard of the hit shows of Mary Mary, R&B Divas, Atlanta, Growing Up Hip Hop, and Loving Hip Hop. Well, I have the woman behind all these amazing shows, executive producer Trevia Williams, and she's going to be on today's show talking about not only being one of the top producers in Hollywood, but also her battle with MS and how that affects her daily life and her daily struggles. So make sure you come back, watch this amazing episode for the Brandee J talk show, and we'll be right back.
Couldn't see him when I needed, like I had obstructed views. Turn diamonds to rubies when I'm chasing them emeralds. Got my boom band pal and that cooking nigga emerald. Legacy, I'm sorry, I keep burning up. Way my life is going, nigga, keep turning up. My success will be my only form of revenge. Feed the ones I starved with is my only intent. Sitting on the block drinking Millers. Came a long way from hanging with dealers and killers. I gotta go and get it. I gotta go and get it. I gotta go and get it.
We are back on a new episode of the Brandee J talk show, and the lady right here, if you watch Loving Hip Hop, Growing Up Hip Hop, Mary Mary, R&B Divas Atlanta, she is the woman behind all the greatness of those shows. Trevia Williams, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited too.
We've been going back in emails and texts and everything.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to be on our March cover, our Women's Power issue.
I'm honored.
It's when I learned about you from JT and Nora, and I was just like, yes, we have to have her. I love sharing Black women stories about everything, because I know as being a Black woman in entertainment, we don't get a lot of shine.
Yes.
And you're behind the scenes. So what made you decide to get in the industry being a producer?
Well, actually, my career started as it was by happenstance. My career started. I always tell people I am an administrator by trade. That is who I am to my core, my administrative duties. And just over the course of my career, it's kind of led me to things which led to this moment. So 8 years military, was straight administrative. Then I was marketing, advertising. Started administrative, but then got promoted to marketing, advertising. Marketing, advertising led to music, and then music led to television.
Wow.
And it just was always a progression. My first television show that I was blessed to be able to produce, I was executive administrator for Mary Mary, who then landed their reality show with E1 on WeTV, and I was actually a unwilling cast member for about 2 seasons because I worked with them, and then but behind the scenes I started learning and working. And one of the ladies there said, she said, actually what you do is producing. So I, got the job as a talent producer, and I said, okay, now can I come off the camera? So then for season 3 on, I was just but I was the supervising producer. And then from there I did R&B Divas Atlanta, as well I did R&B Divas LA. So, and then from there I've done everything from Marriage Boot Camp to, I started, Loving Hip Hop Hollywood started February 2014. And I did the first 5 seasons straight with them. Then I left for a bit when it was a changeover of one of the production companies, not Mona Me. Mona Me is still the forefront of it, but there was a shift. So then I went to do Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. And that was my, I show ran that. Then I came back and they asked me to go back to Loving Hip Hop half the last season, and now I am an executive producer for Black Ink Compton.
Wow, congratulations.
Yes, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. Most of my shows were music oriented. Marriage Boot Camp and Black Ink are the first just kind of character driven shows. But I love it. I love talent. So I think administrating, I always say that my call in life is to, I tell people that I'm not an entrepreneur, right? I love working for other people. She loves to have a job, you understand? Because I believe that I don't have to own it to run it. And I feel like my calling in life is to facilitate, administrate, and produce the dreams of others.
And
that is who I am
a beautiful
to my core.
thing. So I know a lot of the shows that you have produced always gets backlash.
Yes.
For how it represents African Americans. So what do you say to those people who say that's not real TV or they're not really stars and all that comes with it?
Well, here's the thing. My black is beautiful. Everybody's black is beautiful, but everybody's black is not the same.
Yes.
Right? I'm a New Orleanian. I'm a Southern black woman. That's very different from being an East Coast woman to being a West Coast woman.
Yeah.
There are different myriads of our blackness, right? And we all have different life experiences. And my thing is, if that's really the life that you're living, I will show it and produce it. I'm not into creating drama for you and all of that. So the lives that you see on these TV shows, the scenarios may be produced, right? And that just means you and I fall out today. I won't have lunch with you again.
Got it.
The only difference on TV is, as a producer, I'm gonna make you have lunch with that person probably 2 or 3 more times than you would have in real life.
Got it. Okay.
Or if you're having a conversation, a difficult conversation with a significant other or a parent, I'm gonna make you sit there and listen longer than you would without a camera, because you can't just get up and run.
So what you're doing, you're getting the realness
Yes.
of them. You're just getting it from like a longer standpoint.
A longer standpoint. I tell you what restaurant you're gonna go to have the conversation, but the conversation you have is authentically your conversation.
Got it.
And how the other person reacts to what you say to them is authentically their experience. We just script where you're gonna have it and how often, right? And then the other, I think it's a bunch of, I think it's easy to pick on reality TV.
It really is.
It really, it's like, because listen, Oprah tried to give us an all positive channel in our good feelings, and Oprah almost lost her money trying to give us positive TV. Because I feel like, real talk, I was the only one watching Oprah's show when it was Shania Twain on the bus and every day it was Soulful Sunday and all of that. Like, she had to bring it back and just make Sunday one day. When she was trying to just give us the good feels and inspiration, nobody was tuning in.
You have to mix it up with the good feel, and because in reality everyone's life is not happy all the time.
It isn't. And life is about give and take. There's stakes in life. We call it drama. It's really stakes. Like it's like you have this magazine, and if I were to document that, it's like, what were all the things that happened to propel you to this moment? And what were the things that happened that would have almost stopped you? And when you put on TV, they call it drama, but that's just life. That's just flow.
It's the reality of it. And I tell people, like, you don't know what I go through behind the scenes. Like, when I tell my story about being a survivor of sexual abuse, domestic violence, going through 2 divorces, being a single mom, and I'm still here. And I said, you don't see all that, but that's my life.
And then those are the lives of the people that I produce. Sometimes it happens. And I think the other misgivings is we like, it's reality TV and we making these women do this. Okay. My dream one day is to get fully into scripted. I've associated producer a couple of movies, but then I look at the things that we decide to do when we get a blank sheet of paper, which is what I call scripted. So when we get a blank sheet of paper and we have the power to write and craft the black woman of our dreams, let's talk about who we've crafted.
Exactly.
Olivia Pope. Sis was a side chick. She wore really good clothes, but she was a side chick
in reality.
Being Mary J, powerful, great job, all of that, but she came from a family where her brother was a crackhead. She had a niece that had multiple baby daddies. She couldn't even be happy with her own success because all she wanted to do, she didn't feel complete because she didn't have a man, to the point where she's taking somebody's sperm and putting it in the freezer.
Yeah.
That was a black woman we created with a blank sheet of paper.
Exactly. Do you think Hollywood now, because I feel like as being black in entertainment, we have a long way to go for them to even give us a acknowledgement that they should be giving us. So with you being behind the scenes, what are you doing to change that narrative?
The main thing that I do is I mentor a lot, right? And I mentor not in the sense of like, oh, you're my person and you're fine, but the the people that I come across, be them male, female, black, white, whatever, but I make sure that I hire people of color. I make sure that if my set is lacking women, I make sure that I say something about that. Like, we don't have a female camera out, there's no female audio, and I make sure that there are black producers, because there's production assistants, so it's not just those roles, but I'm looking actively for black directors, I'm looking for black producers. I don't hire you because you're black, but I do hire you because I know that there are black people that are qualified, more than qualified, to do those jobs, and I look for them. And I think it is important that, because I happen to, in this space and time right now, I tell the stories of people of color. I think it is important that people of color have a say-so in how those stories are told.
Exactly.
Because if the people that are editing, the people that are coming up with the scenarios don't know you culturally, don't understand our nuances, it's missed.
They're gonna put a lot of things out there that shouldn't be out there, and they can't relate to certain things that a person, a character, or a star could be going through.
And they won't focus on what's important
Exactly.
to us. Like they'll feel like, oh, this is important too. And I hear a lot of times in store, I'm like, oh no, she's not mad about that. She's mad about this.
Exactly.
You think she's mad about the cheating. That's actually not her issue.
Exactly.
It's these things. But to come from the culture, and that I know that. I can tell that by the way she rolls her neck, how long she takes to blink. You know what I mean? There's just things about us that no matter how diverse we are in our blackness, that because we come from each other, I pick up on that.
Well, we're going to take a quick break because he's signaling me like he always does. So we'll be right back on the Brandee J Talk Show.
Thank you.
Hey, I gotta go and get it. Hey, I gotta go and get that. I'm on a mission to bring all of my dreams and my visions to fruition. I gotta go and get it. Hey, I gotta go and get it. Hey, listen. I wish I had a genie in the bottle. Rubbed the lamp a few times and put my life in full throttle. Speeding, switching lanes beside baby looking like my dough. Who would ride for me in the Ford or Ferrari? Ha 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 ha, you looking funny. You was hating on me before I touched a little money.
We are back on the Brandee J Talk Show with this amazing woman, Trevia Williams, and I was trying to keep going and talking because the conversation that we were having is a conversation that is really much needed. But you have catapulted a lot of stars off of your reality show. So which one are you most proud to see go to a next level?
I know the obvious choice would anybody would say something like a Cardi B who was on Love and Hip Hop New York, but I'm most proud of the ladies especially that have taken the opportunity of the 16 to 12 weeks to find other streams of revenue for themselves.
That's amazing.
So the girls that have decided, yes, you might see my craziness, you might see me turning up, but I'm gonna sell you a t-shirt while you're doing it, I'm proud of her. The ones that came up with a lip gloss and an eyelash, I'm proud of them.
Yes.
And I'm on them constantly, like, listen, don't just be on here for the sake of being here.
Exactly. Have something outside of it, so when the cameras are off, your money and everything you're doing is still rolling in.
Sell something, sing something, push something, do something.
Well, if you need another cast member, I got a magazine, a talk show, podcast, book, clothing line, everything's coming out in the Brandee J.
It's a 12 to 16 week commercial.
Yeah.
And though we may not be just popping up and want you, but it's like you use that time when it airs to showcase yourself. There's more, you like that outfit I wore, you like that, I'm proud of the people, the cast members that have enterprise. Ray J has reinvented itself.
Oh my God, yes, he did.
Reinvented itself. And to be a black man in this tech space is amazing.
Yes.
It is amazing. I look at Rashida and what she's done. To me, Rashida was one of the pioneers of the whole online boutique thing and selling. Listen, when you look at someone, even she's a friend of mine, but I look at Candy and the way that she's taken it. I'm proud of those that have taken it and say, I'm about to use this platform, and yes, you may get my life and you may judge it, but what you're going to also get is this product and
see everything else that comes with
and everything else.
Me being on this show is just one picture of me, but there's so many other pictures I have in this frame that it's more like this is more to me than what I do, and that's an amazing thing to just be promoting those women who are like, okay, yes, this is a commercial, who see it that way, because I never thought about seeing it that way.
It's a 12 to 16 week commercial, no matter depending upon how many episodes you have. Then I'm extremely proud of the girls that I've seen evolve emotionally.
Got it.
Like the stuff that they put up with in seasons 1 or 2, where they're standing at in seasons 8, 9, 10, they're different women. And I'm proud of the ones that have, because it's more than a notion to put your life out there. Like, I don't take it for granted. I tell people, I say it as a joke, but I really mean it in a heartfelt way too. It's like I make a good living because these people choose to share their lives with the world. And it wasn't something I liked.
Yeah. So what do you tell to like a cast? Because when you put your life out there, you're vulnerable, and some people, some of the cast members, they haven't done that before, and they don't know how to handle it. Like there's a different way to handle it in private, but when you have to deal with it in public, what do you tell them? Because certain things they do in private, they can't do in public.
Well, I tell them all the time, because there's like because as viewers, as cast member, people start to learn TV lingo and they feel like savvy, right? So they'll start saying, well, this is my real life and this is my TV life. And I said, well, here's the thing with that. You got to be careful trying to live a TV life and a real life, because one day your TV life and real life gonna meet each other and smack you in the face.
Exactly.
So you don't want them to match, right? I get that you may not give me, you don't have to give me all of you, but whatever part of me you decide to give, let it be real and authentic.
Yes.
That's the only way that you can prepare for this. And it's like, and then don't leave yourself open. I say that a lot to my cast members. They'll know if they feel a way about something, or they've said something to me privately, and then I'm gonna tell them when they get in scene, then they say nothing. I was like, okay, if you're fine walking away and leaving yourself open, because just because you choose not to participate in the conversation doesn't mean the conversation will cease.
Exactly.
So you use your voice.
Well, I love that you are all about Black excellence. And I saw that you attended the Rock Nation Brandee brunch, and I know that was amazing. What was it like being around all that Black excellence in like one area?
It's just, it's amazing. It always makes me feel super grateful, because I ask myself a lot still, and I've been in the entertainment industry now probably close to 20 years, and I still sometimes step back. I have moments like, wow, how did I get here? Like, I'm here. And then even in doing that, and then I look at the diversity again. There's so many different types of people in those rooms, and what we all bring to the table. So, whether it's a Lauren London in the room, or Kelly, Beyonce walking through, Rihanna walking through, but they're also content creators.
Exactly,
and people like me behind the scenes, and that's what. And I know so many people, I've seen their career rise. I'm like, I remember when she was like an intern and now she's running this. I remember when she was a manager, like Tina Davis. She was Chris Brown's manager, and now she's head of one of the most viable and forceful major independents that there is, and that's Empire Music. So seeing that is like, whoa, what are you doing to them?
Yeah, what do you say to, there's a lot of women out there who, single mothers, want to go after their dreams, but they're afraid, or they don't know where to start. What would be your one advice to them?
The biggest, it's never too late. When you start is the right time. Like sometimes we're like, if I did it 5 years ago, the day that you decide to go for it and do it, it is the right time.
Wow.
Like you didn't lose time because you didn't do it last year. Or the moment you started letting it happen for yourself, it was the right time for it to happen. I decided at 41, sitting in an administrative job in full-time ministry, like, I want to move to LA. I want to become a television and film and TV. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want to. And I left my job, very secure job, and moved to LA and gave myself 5 years. I moved here May 2009 and gave myself 5 years to do it, and by the grace of God, I started in that motion within a year to two within that. But it's, when you start is your time. Take it in chunks, right? I think people, especially visionaries, and again, I don't feel like I'm an entrepreneur, but people that have that mindset, they see the big thing, right? So they're fashion designers. So they see the first day, they see Milan Fashion Week, right? And they don't want to do nothing unless it's Milan Fashion Week. Well, sis, how about you just sell a t-shirt? Like, start. You know what I mean? Because I'm a person that, because I call myself a visionary, so when I'm around visionaries, they're like up here, and I'm like, okay, but if you take these 3 bullet points and just start doing something, right?
But it's good to have someone like you, because I'm a visionary, and I see 5 years ago, I see this, and I started 10 years ago, and my son was 3 weeks old, and I said, this is what God told me to do, and I'm going to do it. And the problem that I have, I'm like, I should be further along than where I'm at. And that's what gets me. And I'm just like, all right, God, like, I'm doing everything. I started this.
Where you're at is exactly where it's supposed to be, period. Yeah. And you do what you can. And then another thing which was a thing for me, I went back, and I do it regularly now, the older I get. I go back and I look at my won't do list. You know what I mean? We put, you know, you have a goal, right? You have this dream goal list. I'm gonna do this, 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 and this, and these are the things I want. But then there's this list that we've created that we maybe used to do it, or it was like, I'm not gonna do that again. I won't do this. Sometimes the blessing could be in the what I don't want to do list.
Okay.
And for me, I've gone backwards a lot to propel myself. And where it looks like something else to someone else, I understand what I'm doing. When I decided to join Love and Hip Hop, I had been a supervising producer for a few seasons, but there was an opportunity to start with a franchise that had longevity as far as the time that they filmed, but the position was it was entry level. It was an associate producer.
Got it.
Anybody else would have looked at it like, oh, I'm not taking no step back. I'm gonna wait till I get me a supervising producer job. Well, financially, that wasn't my story. Plus, I looked at the big picture though. It's like, okay, I could be a supervising producer for 3 months, or I can take this job that lasts 10 months. That's a lesser position. And I always say, I'm gonna take this job because they're gonna figure out who I am and where I'm supposed to be once I get there. And that's what happened. So a lot of times I did this wrong, I'm never doing that again. I'm not never gonna do that again. Sometimes you gotta go back to the I don't wanna do that again list.
Wow. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. I have just one more question. Okay. So I want you to think about this. What is your legacy? What do you want to be your legacy? So we're gonna come back, answer that question, because everyone has different answers, but I really wanna see what she has to say. So we'll be right back on the Brandee J Talk Show.
I gotta go and get it. Hey, I gotta go and get it. I'm on a mission to bring all of my dreams and my visions to fruition. I gotta go and get it. I gotta go and get it. Hey, listen. I wish I had a genie in the bottle. Rubbed the lamp a few times and put my life in full throttle. Speeding, switching lanes beside baby looking like my dough. Who would ride for me in the Ford or Ferrari? Ha 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 ha, you looking funny. You was hating on me before I touched a little money.
So we're back with executive producer of if you watched it, she's produced it, Trevia Williams. So my last question I always like to ask my guests, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be one of service. I want my legacy to be, that's the main thing, one of service. That again, like I said, I don't feel like I have to own it to run it. I do feel like I am called, my greatest leadership skill is the way that I serve others. I want my legacy, especially to my children, to be one of never giving up and in spite of. That's my biggest. I want my children and my children's children to know that I did whatever I needed to do, whatever I wanted to do, in spite of the things that should have stopped me, be it financial, be it emotional, be it physical, because I do suffer with MS, an autoimmune disease. I want my legacy to my children and my children's children to be one of, in spite of, I push forward.
And how do you deal with that on a daily basis, fighting with MS?
I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were saying, oh, I can't believe you feel like that. And I was just describing the pain. And it was like, how long do you hurt? I said, actually, I can't remember the last time I haven't been in pain. And I just do it in spite of. My biggest fear, I'm more fearful of, I am less afraid of death than I am of being disabled.
Okay.
That is the biggest, that's a bigger thing for me. I could deal with death, and I faced it. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, but living with the prognosis of being immobile or mentally incapacitated in any way, that scares me. That scares me. But I move and do, I have it. I have a mess.
And that's, to me, that's beyond inspired and powerful, because there's so many people who have so many excuses. And I always tell people, if you got perfect health, like, what is your excuse to not do what you need to do? I was actually in a car accident on Thursday. Wow. I've been in pain all day today, and I said, nothing's stopping me from getting in my car, coming up here and doing this interview, doing this shoot. I said, nothing is stopping me, because I said, God, I know you put your lining, everything up, and I'll come here with a bandage on, slipping around.
Listen, these knees swell up and these ankles turn to cankles. I live, and you know, and here's what I say. I said, I refuse to subscribe to being sick.
Yes.
I give myself the grace to not feel well, and when I don't feel well, and if that feeling unwell makes me have to lay down and take a break and be, you know, just in my bed, or sometimes I'll hit a wall. I allow myself that grace to do that, but I refuse to subscribe to sickness. To living a sickness mentality, a sickness, or I have it so I can't do this and I can't do that. I refuse.
And that's what I tell my daughter has epilepsy, and so does my son. He has a condition with his eyes, and I said, nothing's gonna stop you.
Yeah.
I said, for one, mama's crazy and I'm gonna fight for you, and nothing's gonna stop you. And just to see when I feel like giving up, they're wiping my tears and telling me, Mommy, you know what? All my son knows is me doing this.
That's all my kids
all
know.
He knows. So for him, he's like, you're not quitting, Mommy. You gotta keep going.
In spite of, you do it in spite of. You do it regardless. You do it. Because I'm not gonna not have MS because I didn't go for my things. I'm not gonna not, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
When I have an episode, I deal with it. And when I don't, I'm moving, I'm living, I'm giving, I'm serving. And I feel like that's the only way I could live with this disease. And I say that I conquer it daily. I make strides to conquer it.
She was over there dropping it high like to Beyonce, doing all these kicks and everything.
I mean, when you get the chance, you dance. Yeah. Because life can suck. Yeah. It can suck. Exactly. It's like, look, it can suck. So when you hear a song
that makes you dance, dance. Well, on that note, thank you so much for taking the time, for meeting with us, doing our cover, being on the talk show. Like, I honestly, I was like prepping for you. I was like, I'm gonna make this impression because she don't work with me. She don't see me and be like, yes, honey.
So, no impression needed. Listen, I'm honored. Like, I'm always shocked or honored that anybody wants to hear from me on any level outside of my normal, being at the job or being my child or a friend or something. I'm always like, for what? Okay, sis.
Well, you're amazing in so many ways. I want to thank you so much for being on the talk show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you continue to follow us on all social media platforms. Catch me at LA Fashion Week, and I'll be doing some amazing red carpet and some other great things we got coming up with the talk show and the magazine. Again, this is Brandee J, and we'll see you next time. Bye.